Is the incredible India growth story all over? Yes, investor sentiment has been hit and the GDP growth rate is far below the soaring 9% it was a few years ago. Well, earlier today I spoke to Dr. C Rangarajan, the chairman of the Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council. Over the last several days, ever since the Prime Minister took over the charge of the Finance Ministry, we've seen a somewhat renewed impetus by the government to ensure that the India growth story is firmly on track. Joining us now to discuss the India growth story and whether all the reforms and all the steps the government intends to take to ensure that the economy is on track are indeed working out. Dr. C Rangarajan, thank you very much, sir, for speaking to us today. So firstly, the India growth story. A lot of people also called it Incredible India. And a lot of people are concerned that that Incredible India growth story is over. Would you like to dispel those notions?
India came out of the impact of the international financial crisis fairly fast. After having grown at a rate exceeding 3% for 3 consecutive years, as a result of the impact of the financial crisis, the growth rate came down in 2008-09. But in the following 2 years, the growth rate was 8.4%. Therefore, the recovery was fast.
Yes.
But last year, certainly the growth has slowed down to 6.5%, even though I have a feeling that it could be revised upwards later on. But nevertheless, that is a number that we now have, and therefore growth has slowed down last year. But this does not necessarily mean that we are going to settle down at that particular rate of growth. I see a pickup possible in the current fiscal. I see the growth rate moving to 7% in the current fiscal, and perhaps moving on to a much higher growth rate in the coming years. I don't see the slowdown that we saw last year as the beginning of a period of slow growth. Yes. The pickup is very much on the cards.
So, unfortunately, in this era of coalition politics, the needs or demands of various coalition party members have to be met, and this has been one of the reasons why there hasn't been perhaps as much progress as a lot of people would have liked. Do you believe that we are now in a more stable coalition to ensure that demands of parties like the Trinamool Congress can be staved off to ensure that the economic growth story continues?
Well, we need to take several steps in order to push the economy back to a high growth path. Some of these measures are not necessarily very popular. For example, fiscal consolidation, in my view, is extremely important for sustaining a high rate of growth. But fiscal consolidation in turn would also require adjusting the prices of certain products like the petroleum products.
Which are bound to be politically unpopular.
Yes, I think there is a need to carry the political parties with us. And I think the government must start working on it. Some, as you have mentioned and as I indicated, measures are not popular, but these need to be taken. And along with it, certain other reform measures, which again do not have a total consensus, political consensus at the moment, will have also to be taken.
Sure.
Therefore, I think it is possible to do it. In some cases, like GST, the General Goods and Services Tax,
yes.
The differences are there, but the differences are not insurmountable. But we need to work on all of them. I think there are 4 or 5 items, whether it is pension or whether it is GST or the direct tax code.
Yes.
The differences are not really that great, but we need to work on it.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app, fully optimized for RETINA display, full screen view, faster response time, and Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.